catch up on my end so I can see that it's actually working, which I know it is. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Your Creative Journey Live. I'm Kevin Gregg.
And I'm James Arnold Taylor.
No, no, you're not.
Oh, I'm still Paul Carganilla.
Here's the fantastic thing, Paul, which is the great thing. I get to see this happening and I get to see the ads that are running. So congratulations to you, buddy. I love
Oh,
that. I love that stuff is running on this. You know,
thanks. Sorry about that.
it's not. What are you? Why are you sorry about it?
Because you got to wait the 5 seconds and then do the clicky thing.
That's fine with me. Hey, everybody, glad to have you here. If you're tuning in tonight and you're going, wait a minute, we came here specifically to see James Arnold Taylor. Uh, we had to do a last minute rescheduling. I had a funny feeling that this was going to happen on one level.
Why? Because he's famous and we're not?
Well, that's one of the things, right? He's literally doing stuff this entire time uh, throughout the pandemic. So he's continually recording. And I was given a heads up by his wife and manager that last minute stuff might pop up, but they had some stuff come up at the house in the last
Wait,
minute.
his wife called you and his manager called you?
His wife is his manager. So,
Well, that's the case in every marriage, right?
oh boy, zing, zing, ding, ding, ding. What are you having? A little bubbly? That's a lovely
Little
flavor.
Michael Bubbly. It's
It's,
the blackberry.
I love that flavor, man.
Thanks.
Um, anyway, here's the thing. I do want to say a big shout out to the entire social media team that works with us. Uh, Paul, help me with everybody here. Dari, Heather, Sam, Christina, Craig,
Producer Craig.
all of these guys, man. These
Yeah.
guys, we literally got this news. I was on a walk with Duncan, and then we got I got the news a little bit after 6 o'clock. So it was close to 6:30. So sending that stuff out, and everybody was amazing.
Yeah, totally. And I was like, I got the email like right away, which is really weird because I like never check my email anymore.
Sure.
Um, so let's dive into this. So I used to be the guy who had like anytime an email popped up in my little box, I would erase it if I didn't need it.
Right.
And then like there was one weekend where I couldn't keep up, and then I had like 50. I was
Okay.
like, oh, I gotta go through it. And then I never got through it. And now there's like, let me check, hang on. And if you let me know if you're like the I always delete everyone type of person, or the my inbox looks like yours. Right now, I've got, it's not going to focus,
Yeah.
6,279 waiting for
Yeah.
me.
No.
And once it hits that number, it's like I never check my mail anymore because
Yeah.
it's too daunting.
No, I'm gonna tell you, dude, I'm the exact same way. Like literally as you're talking about that right now, I'm gonna check my inbox right now. And I'm like the same thing. I think it's thousands and thousands of messages. I can't
So
even see how many there. Well, I'm not as bad as you. Right now I've got 3,052 that's in my inbox.
yeah,
So,
Jamie had,
but that's only one email account. So
yeah, my wife has like 50,000 in hers. I'm like, how do you even have that much space? But anywho, I digest. So
it's
I
madness.
like randomly saw this email
Yeah.
and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I just texted Kevin like that emoji, that
Yeah.
emoji.
Yeah.
And then he didn't write me back. And I was like, oh, he doesn't know yet. So I called and then you didn't pick up. It was like a Sunday. It was just like
Wasn't a
silence.
Sunday. It was Monday. It was Monday, but
I'm saying it was like a Sunday
it was
because I was
like a
just
Sunday.
getting silence from Kevin. And then you called me back. Then you got your email and you called me. Or maybe
was
you got my voicemail first.
what was all I checked your voicemail first and then I texted you back and it's okay because
Yeah.
this is what we get to do. We get to have an off the cuff show. We're going to roll into the audio version of it in just a second. Hey Paul, here's something that I thought of for those people that are just joining us right now. uh, we can experiment with this if you would like. Okay. And I'm saying this to listeners that are on our YouTube stream right now before we dive into the audio podcast version. If you have a creative question or something that you want to ask us tonight, yes, you can do it in the YouTube comments, but If you think that you want to have a one-on-one conversation with both Paul and I right now, if you email me right now at kevin@kevingregg.com, or you can Facebook message me on Facebook, I'm at Kevin Gregg Show. If you Facebook message me, I will send you the phone number link to this actual Zoom meeting that
What?
Paul and I are on, and then we're going to bring you onto the show. So if you've got something where you just go, you know what, I can't really handle it so much with the typing, and you really want to get into a deep dive, like maybe there's something that you've been specifically dealing with, email me right now at kevin@kevingregg.com, or Facebook message me. You can find me at Kevin Gregg Show. That's two G's, Gregg. It's actually three G's. Kevin Gregg Show on Facebook. Facebook message me. I'll send you the invite. I'll send you specifically the phone numbers, and we'll treat it like a radio call-in show if we can. Okay. And if you just want to just type stuff in while you're here, then that's okay too. That's all right.
Yeah. And a quick little something, Kev. Jamie's working late again tonight, so
Okay.
the kids are unsupervised.
Yeah.
So about every 15 minutes or so, I'm just going to take a quick break and ask them if they're okay.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Thanks. Cool.
And actually that'll help out, because listeners, if you send me a message or something and I happen to have you on an actual call during this thing, that's great. I'll give Paul an opportunity to step out. But don't worry about that. We'll do it. Let's dive in, because we got a lot to talk about tonight regardless. The cool thing about tonight, Paul, is this actually bumps up some stuff that I wanted to start talking about next week, because I knew next week was going to be, I think next week it was just going to be you and me show. And several of our shows going towards the end of this year are going to be you and me. And I've got a little plan to help wrap up 2020 in a good way for everybody.
But we're going to get Obi-Wan, right?
Yes, Obi-Wan will be our only hope. We're going to reschedule with him. I hope to get him back here in the next few weeks. I'm trying to navigate some stuff scheduling wise with what's going on in the calendar for everybody. So there you go. Are you ready, buddy?
Yeah.
Are our audience members ready? Can we say hi to our folks first? Paul, let's say hi to our folks first before
Hello,
we get
everybody. Anna, Kim, Dari, Sel, Kelsey, Christina, Angelica.
Love it.
Diana, all the us.
Look at this, man. They're on there. Dari, I'm just telling you, if you want to, send me that email, and then you can just call in on a cell phone. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you have to use the internet to call, unless.
But doesn't the phone call use the internet?
Well, it could, right? But like, I'm just saying, sometimes we ask you to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Hey, man,
Sarah.
if you don't want to do it tonight, it's cool.
Dude, I
Yeah.
just started my audio recording.
Yes.
Just FYI.
Okay, that's fine. You're good. That's why I've got this other stuff that's recorded. Thank you for letting me know that, because I want to make sure, here's behind the scenes stuff, guys. When we're recording this, we have to make sure that I'm recording a Zoom call. Am I recording a Zoom call? Holy smokes.
Yeah,
yes,
you
I
are.
am. Good,
Yeah.
good. I'm doing that. And you guys don't see it, but I have this microphone that's here, but also I have another audio recorder that's off in the back, just in case everything were to fall apart. So there you go. Hey man, let's do this. What do you think? Do I intro this week, buddy, or do you?
I lost track.
I forget. I really do. Let's do this. I'll introduce it. You do the follow-up, and we'll rock and we'll roll. Okay, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Creative Journey. I am Kevin Gregg.
I've always been Paul Carganilla.
Yes, you are the man. Welcome. Welcome to the show that is designed to help you with your creative journey, right? We're here to help you get your creative work done. Whether you're a writer, singer, dancer, actor, painter, whatever. Paul and I are here to help guide you through this.
Daydreamer, singer in the showerer.
Yes.
Person who is really good at spraying your yard with a hose in different patterns. We're here for you.
I love it, man. It's good stuff. We may be having a caller in just a little bit to join us because guess what? Our good friend, everybody on our YouTube stream is going to be cheering for her right now. Our good friend Dari has volunteered that she may come in and be a part of our show tonight. So, what do you think about that? Huh?
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Pretty fun. I'm gonna pause a little bit on the audio podcast part while I try to pull up the invitation for her because I want her to get this information. So Dari, here's what I'm gonna do.
You have to edit it.
What do you mean she's got? I will edit it. I edit it all the time, mister. Hold on one second. Look at this, guys. You get to see some behind the scenes stuff. Paul, gosh, this is the crazy thing, right? While I'm doing this, I'm trying to also navigate. How do I find? Oh boy. Nope, I don't want to do that. It's like the worst audio podcast for everybody. Sorry, gang. Dari, I'm trying to find that phone number so you can call in just a second, okay? Hey, Paul, as we start out, while I'm doing this, every week, we learned this several weeks ago, we like to talk about the great things that have happened in your week, so that we don't focus on the negative stuff that's happened. But what was some of the best stuff that happened for you this last week, buddy?
Two things. One, my mom joined me on my show on Saturday night.
What?
We performed a hip hop song on
Yeah.
acoustic guitar. I played acoustic guitar and she played the harp. And we did a cover version of a hip hop song, and it was so fun.
What was it? What was the song that you did?
It's called Sunflower. It was in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse a couple of
Oh
years
my
ago.
gosh. How
Yeah.
cool, man. I saw the little I haven't seen it yet, but I saw the little clip. So I've got to go back and take a look at that. Oh my God, that's amazing, man. How was that for you?
Oh, it was so much fun. Like a month ago, we had like a Billy Joel night, and my dad
Yeah.
played sax on a song that I sang. And so, like, my mom played harp. Like, we've never done that before. Like, I've never
What?
performed with her, like, on the harp. She just picked up the harp. She's always been a musical person. She just started to pick up the harp a few years ago.
Yeah.
And now she takes it to like different places and does harp therapy with like seniors
Oh,
and hospitals and stuff.
oh,
And
wow.
so she's never played for like an audience before, like an audience before. And she's like,
Really?
this is really helpful because it's on webcam and there's not like, I can't see all the people. So because she gets really nervous too.
Wow.
But it was awesome. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, man. That's super amazing. I'm assuming that she like took lessons and everything or no?
She did like online lessons.
What? Wait a second.
Yeah.
How long has she been playing for?
It's been a few years. She
So
started
this
a
is
few years ago.
I love this. It's so awesome. Your mom's a rock star. And how about
Yeah.
your dad? Did your dad always play the saxophone or what did
Oh
he do?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How
Forever.
amazing is that? I got to go back and take a look at that clip. Cuz you guys do it was a Post Malone? Oh, that's it.
Yes.
It's Sunflower Post Malone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
It's a good
absolutely
time.
amazing. I got to look at that. On a side note, Dory, I just to let you know, I sent you the phone numbers. And also there's a little bit of a passcode that you need. So if you can just dial that and dial the passcode, we'll get you in and I'll talk with you in just a few minutes. Okay. Awesome. Glad to have you here. Paul, so cool, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I love it,
How
man.
about you? What was the coolest thing of your week?
Paul, I'm going to tell you, I had a pretty amazing thing that went from like a Saturday night into a Sunday, right? So what happened was Saturday night, we had on Dana Middleton last week, and Dana Middleton has been working with my wife Kate on a book series. And
Mm-hmm.
so on Saturday night, she was just working away on the book series. We just had the television off. I was finishing up some editing and stuff, and it was just honestly, it was a creative household. It was like a household where everybody was working on their stuff, and it was so darn cool. So we had this moment of just like going, wow, everybody's like actively working on their projects. Um, and then into Sunday, and I'm going to keep saying this time and time again. Sunday is like my big Sabbath, where I just kind of like, I don't do anything. And of course, it had been a late night on Saturday because we were working on projects late. So I wasn't able to get up early enough. I try to go to mass over at St. Charles Borromeo. They have these drive-in masses they've been doing early in the morning. Couldn't get up for that. I have been seeing, just a shout out for people that are visitors to the show, brand new to the show. I'm a practicing Catholic, and my faith. It's not to change anybody, but it's a thing that's really near and dear to me. But I wasn't able to go to our local church, but I do like stream online masses. There's a guy that's out of Minnesota. I think it's Duluth, Minnesota. His name is Father Mike Schmitz. If you want to look him up on YouTube, he has been giving these sermons during mass the last couple of weeks that have been so pointed, man. They're like just so right on point in terms of changing your mindset and in terms of the things that you're trying to move forward. And for me, it was really filling, and also just having my phone off. I have my phone off for a minimum of 8 hours on Sundays now. Like, I mean, completely off. It is completely off. And it changes your world. It changes your world because all of a, I mean, you want to reach for it, right? Sometimes you want to, reach for the phone and check out stuff. But once you get used to it and like you're just reading or you're doing a little bit of drawing, we will watch a movie or something like that on television. But boy, man, it was an amazing Sunday. So that's all I want to say with that. So,
Did you get my text on Sunday?
Paul, if you text me on a Sunday, man, it ain't gonna happen.
I know.
it's just it's just not gonna happen, man. Well, and then I feel terrible, right? Because then all of a sudden I'll go and I'll take a look, and I will turn on my phone eventually and see, oh no, there's like a whole bunch of messages and stuff, and I completely missed it.
That's
But
my
it's okay.
biggest nightmare. So I got this promotion at work like almost a year ago now, but like with the promotion came a work cell phone, and like I'm still getting used to having two phones.
Yeah.
And sometimes on the weekends I forget to check my work phone,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, oh, it's been like 6 hours since I looked at it, and I dread turning it on and seeing a bunch of texts or missed calls.
Wow.
But so that must be like what you go through every time.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. Hey, here's something really cool. I'm just going to let you know, Dari, in just a second. We've got Dari calling in just a minute. So we're going to go to you, Dari, in a little bit. We're going to talk for a little bit, but I would love to talk. This is a first for your creative journey. What we're doing is, for those of you that are listening on the audio podcast, just to catch you up to speed, we were supposed to have James Arnold Taylor on the show this week. Now, James has got a pretty packed schedule as it is. Usually he'll get like last minute calls to do things or whatever. I did get a text got a message at the last minute from his manager letting us know that they were dealing with issues. He's dealing with some home issues. Like quite frankly, there was a plumbing issue that he has to deal with. So he's trying to get all that taken care of, and just went, here's the deal. Don't worry about it. Take care of all of your stuff, and we will reschedule. It's a huge thing, right? We're super glad to have him on the show when he does show up. So but here's a challenge that I like just gave out to one of our regular listeners that's there. There's two things I'd like to do tonight, Paul. What we're going to do is we're going to go. I've given the option for some of our YouTube listeners or viewers to call in, and if there's something that if there's an issue that they're having with their creative projects or stuff that maybe you and I can guide them through, I would love to talk to them about that. And on the other side of the show tonight, what I'd like to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to start preparing ourselves how we can close out 2020 in an awesome way creatively, so we can set ourselves up for a great and miraculous 2021, quite frankly. So there you go. What do you think about that, Paul?
That sounds awesome and miraculous.
I love it. It's good stuff. Hey, Dari, here's what I'm going to ask you to do, because I know that she's listening to us a few seconds ahead of time. What I would love for you to do, Dari, is on your computer, if you could mute your YouTube feed, because what's going to happen is there's going to be like a 6-second delay as we're talking, and we might start hearing that through the phone. So if you can mute your YouTube feed, that'll be awesome. And I'm going to head over to you and ask you if you can unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself on your phone? Let's see if she can do this because I did mute her. Hey, are you there, Dory?
Can you hear me?
Oh my gosh. Look at this, Paul. I'm so excited. We literally have our first call in person on the show. Dory, welcome.
Hi.
This is
Hi.
awesome. It's like the first time I've ever, not just on this show, but on any show, had a caller.
I know, right? It's amazing.
Woohoo!
Hey,
I've never done it before.
Dari, I'm so happy to have you. Thank you for showing up like every week. And Dari also helps us out on the social media side, man. She is a rock star with your sister, right? Your sister and you guys help us out, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do.
So Dari, let's talk with you. Something was on your heart tonight. I know that you've been writing on some of the YouTube comments for a while. You know, you're talking about things that you're trying to move forward with. What's something specifically that we can help you with tonight?
Well, I'm a writer too. Hi.
Yeah.
But I've never posted or published anything. I've been writing the same story on and off for like 10 years, trying to like not be too lazy and do it. But 2020 hit and I was like, well, okay, so I guess I should work on this eventually, right?
Well, Dari, let me do this. Let's back this up just a little bit, right? So when you say that you've been working on a story, tell me exactly what it is that you've been working on. Is it a short story, or in your view, is it a short story? Is it like a novel? Is it a series of books? And you don't have to give it away, but just to hear part of that structure so we can help guide you.
Well, I don't remember actually how it started, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I do. It was for school, like in high school or so, because I was in an acting class and we had to like create a story and like use camera angles and all these things with it. But I really liked the idea because I used to not sleep well, so I would just draw and create characters because I always love creating characters and stuff.
Right.
So I created the characters and then I was like, I'm just gonna make a story of this.
Right.
And then I did, and I guess it's a novel, and I want to say it'd be more like a series because it's in another whole other like planet, whole other world. Like I want to say like a sci-fi fantasy because it has nothing to do with what we're in.
Right on.
But
what are some of the biggest challenges? What are some of the biggest challenges that you've been running into with writing it and creating it? Now you say that you've been working on it on and off for 10 years. Is the issue like a procrastination thing, or is it something that you get caught up with a certain element of the writing?
I think it's a little bit of both because it's such a literal out of this world type of story. But I wanted the same like the hero aspect, but like give a background of the villain and like how the villain became the villain type of thing.
Right.
So it's just kind of difficult to create things that like you have to literally create because it's in a whole other universe.
Right. It's a little bit of, I've heard this happen, especially with people that are dealing with fantasy science fiction. One of the challenges that you deal with is you're basically world building and you're almost trying to like create what are the rules or the systems or the things so that the reader can kind of follow along. You may be making up like made up places or made up classes or people or made up things that they do. And there's a bit of explanation that's involved in it. So I'm sure that might be one of the challenges that you face. Yeah.
Yeah. Like try to describe their academy, but like try not to use today's modern words because I don't even know like where exactly their modern is,
Can I ask you who are some of your influences, if you don't mind?
Yeah. I can't on the spot. I can't really remember anything.
That's okay. That's okay.
What are you a fan of, or what kinds of shows are you a fan of that are similar to what the story is in your mind?
Well, Firefly and Harry Potter and Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, like like more sci-fi, but there's also fantasy elements because I played Skyrim and all these type of video games like that. So I
Right.
wanted to create a world where it's like not here.
Sure. I'm gonna tell you some stuff that's sort of coming up from my heart here while I'm listening to you. It's okay with especially as you're writing, and I've seen this happen a lot with my screenwriting. I'm seeing this happen actually as Kate and Dana are working on their stuff. And I see this happen with people that work on television shows, that sometimes we have to do an enormous amount of writing so that we can us personally as the writer can understand exactly what it is that we're talking about for ourselves. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all of it is going to end up in the finished book. Now it might, but I think the best thing, Dari, is about taking that time and creating so that you have sort of a grasp of it. I know that that might seem frustrating because it's like, wait a minute, why am I spending all of this time writing on stuff that may not actually end up in the book? But I think that laying that foundation helps give you a clear idea and more specificity about what that world is as you're creating it. I mean, think about some of these games that you're talking about right now. I know that we're talking about major, you know, um, computer systems and these things that can generate it, but realize that these computers are also generating sometimes landscapes or stuff, like especially in a game like Skyrim. That's a place where you've got millions of different combinations, and you could be landing or showing up on a planet that no other player in the world will ever land on or explore, right? But it's like created that way. Um, I guess the best thing is it's about getting familiar with it. It's about getting familiar with that world. Now, what's the big difference with all of this stuff? Yes, writing down and getting the world, I think, is a really important thing, but also these people that you're talking about, like who these specific characters are. Can I ask you that? And you don't have to go, again, don't have to go into great detail with this, but do you have a general idea of maybe one or two of the characters, or maybe what their journey is that they might be going on in this story?
Yeah. So the beginning, well, it's all basically flashbacks. Like,
Hmm.
how you see things nowadays. It's like something happens and then it's all flashbacks.
Hmm.
Um, so the main story is about these two girls.
Hmm.
They're like best friends when they're little, and then all of a sudden, one girl has to get taken away. And I'm trying not to reveal that much of
Yeah,
like
no,
the
please don't. Yeah, as broad as you can, because we don't need you to spill the beans on it, right?
right. And she gets taken away, for her parents take her away. And so the other friend is very confused and doesn't know what's happening. They're like 3 years old or like 5, the childhood age before they like grow up and like stuff.
Mhm.
And then like I say like a lot, I realize when I'm nervous. Um,
You're okay.
they,
It's not bad. You should hear me. I
they
always take a look at this. When I go back over the tapes, I'm always saying, right, right. I say that a lot. And the one phrase that kills me every time I'm on the show is as well too. What phrase is that? As well too. So
As
please.
long as we're pointing out the things that Kevin says all the time, I'd like
Oh,
to also point out "good on ya."
like
Like
I'm an Australian.
you say it so often. Like one time, I think I forget what episode it was, but somebody said something really sad or depressing, and you were like, "Good on ya." And I was like,
You see, Dari, this is an example of failing in public. So you don't have to worry at all. You just have to just
"I'm
put
getting
yourself,
fired soon anyway, so I'm just gonna have some fun with Kevin."
get out of here. So you're doing fine.
okay.
So you're talking about these characters and the basic. Do you have you explored enough? Have you done, oddly enough, have you done enough backstory with each of these characters, like the things that motivate them, or the thing, and again, this might not be stuff that ends up in your final product. Have you ever done an exercise like that?
Yeah, I
Okay.
have. I've taken script analysis class, playwriting class.
Great.
Funny enough, with Paul's old friend from Moore Park College.
Yeah.
Nice.
He was my professor. So yeah, I've taken a lot of classes. I used to be an English major when I
Great.
used to live in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Then I changed, now it's theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have background stories on the characters, and it's still in development. Like I'm trying to get to, because I was watching another show on Netflix, and it strayed away from the main protagonist's line, and it went to these other people, like parents. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get more depth to how the parents know each other and why they took the kid away, and so I'm like trying to like make an element there.
Okay. Now, what do you think? Let's get to the meat of what this is. What do you think is what do you feel like is your biggest block right now, or actually, let's take it all the way back. Let's take it all the way back for a second. If there is one specific problem that you think that you could easily tackle, what do you think that might be for yourself?
When I get the idea, I should write it down right away.
Okay.
Like if it's thinking of the story and stuff, I should write it down right away. And sometimes I don't, but my sister gets mad at me. She's like, write that down. I'm like, I will. And I never do.
So here's an example of something that might help. You probably have your cell phone with you, right? All the time. So at the very least, you could at least make a voice memo, even if it's not writing it down. Do you think that might be something that could help you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't really have my phone. I try not to have it on me like every second.
I understand.
But try to not to be on the phone every second. But when I was watching, I did it once. And funny enough, my sister was like sound asleep, and I was watching the show, and I was like, "Wait, I have my phone on me." So I wrote down, and then it just was a whole bunch of notes based on the parents, both sides of the parents and stuff. Okay. And I just kept writing, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, there's all those ideas."
Okay. So we know that. So we know that one simple, like low-hanging fruit, as a friend of mine likes to compare it, right? Like the moving forward and trying to get the stuff done is about trying to tackle the easiest thing that you can, right? Like whatever's the most low-hanging fruit from a tree to go, all right, that's easy. If I'm doing that, then what's next? What would be something that you would like to, if we were thinking like long-term for you, Dari, if I was to say something like, in an ideal situation, where would you like to see yourself, say, 6 months from now with this project? In an ideal situation where you just look and you just kind of go and you sort of take a breath and you go, wow, I'm glad that I got this part of it done. If I were to give you those parameters, and it doesn't have to be the entire book, it doesn't have to be the entire thing. But if I was to say to you, Dari, you're imagining yourself 6 months from now, you're taking a big deep breath and you're looking at something and you're looking at the project, and what do you think that would mean for you, like say 6 months from now?
6 months from now, I would like it done. I would like it to be at least like just finished, and then go back, have people edit it, have Paul and you read it,
Okay.
have people I know it, and like then work on it and like develop more and like break down into it.
And that's a good goal. And something I always tell people, like I've never written like a novel or anything like that. It's been strictly for screen pretty much. But like for me, the most important thing is to finish the first draft. And like once you have that, I found like it's so much easier to go back in and make it a stronger story. But until the first draft is done, like you feel like it's just like this mountain that you need to climb, or this huge just wall you need to get over. And so I was like, I'll give you an example for the Haunted Man. Like I've mentioned before, like that went through so many different versions before it became what it was, that I finally just said, you know what, I'm gonna take one last remix, swing at it, and I'm gonna write the first draft in a week. And that was like what I challenged myself to do. And I sat down every night. I banged out like 10 or 12 pages. And then like I actually had, and it was the craziest thing because I'd never immersed myself that much in writing, like pressed my nose to the grinder that much. And when I did that toward the end, I was getting to like the last 10 pages of it, and I was so into it because I had been so just focused on it that thing that people always talk about that I never thought was actually real happened, where the characters started to make their own decisions.
Yep.
And like I was like, and it surprised me. Like suddenly, like the ending changed because I was just living with these characters like personally for like a
Yeah.
week, and then I did it. I got the first draft done. It was 112 pages in a week. But from there, I could only go back and make it stronger. But until you have that first draft, it's like for me, I don't know if everybody feels the same way, but it just feels like a much bigger project than it is.
Yeah.
But once you get that first draft done, no matter how much of it you end up seeing in the last draft, like you just got to get there in order to do the real work, in my opinion.
Hey, Dari, I want to ask you a question. Are there other people that I know that writing can be also can be a lonely process at times. Are you at a point right now where you have other people that are also writing at the same time that are friends with you, or you know, a group of people that
Um,
you know that are writing, or no?
I know my good friend Krista King writes.
Yes, yes. Okay.
um, I
All
don't
She's
right.
think
heard me
anybody else.
mention the first draft before. Krista has heard me say that once or twice.
Yes, of course. Uh, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, Dory. Here's something interesting.
Set a
Um,
6-minute timer.
Dory, what I'm going to do is because you and I are going to offline this, and guess what? You and I are going to have a conversation via email, and I'm going to help guide you through this with your 6-month goal. What do you think about that?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. Because I think one of the things that can definitely help is that when we have someone that we're checking in with, and by no means am I saying that I am a complete expertise on this, but I think it is helpful to do that. And I'm going to do this public. We're not going to read your pages publicly, but would you be willing to do like little check-ins with us here on the show as we talk about your process as you're going through it? It doesn't have to be big things. We can just do quick 5-minute check-ins or whatever. It can be as simple as you just calling in on the show. But I would love to see. I would. This is what I always say. The best way that we can help ourselves in our creativity is by turning back and seeing if there's other people that we can help. I'm in the middle of this process myself, and since we have you here, Dory, why the heck not? Why the heck not extend that offer? But the other side of this is, I think by you and I going through this process together and sharing this a little bit with the audience, I think it may help inspire other people to get their stuff going, light their fire. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree.
What are your thoughts with all the stuff that you're hearing tonight? I mean, how do you feel about actually? First of all, I want to give you such kudos and props for coming on here, and you're literally our first call-in guest, which is amazing. Um, how do you feel talking about this in public right now? About talking about your art?
Um, it's okay. I was like really shaky, like as soon as we started the call, like freaking out, like oh my god, people could hear me.
Yeah.
But I directed. I was in the student one acts at Moorpark College spring semester before we closed down. We still did it, but now it's on YouTube as a voiceover thing. It's not a voiceover thing. I don't know, podcast type of thing.
Sure.
But I directed a play, and it wasn't my writing, but I really liked it because it was the same type of style, and the guy was a really good writer, and I wanted people to see it because like just having people see what I did and what he did to create the like an 8-minute show, because like it's a one act.
Right.
I like bringing people joy. Like I'm a Zumba fitness instructor, so I like bringing people joy and happiness, and like them agreeing, I guess through dance, agreeing with like how we're moving and how we're expressing ourselves through dance or through writing. I like feeding off and like helping people each other.
There you go. That's amazing, man. Well, that's what it's about. That's what I think that our art and our creativity is for, right? To help other people. What a great heart that you have, where it's like going, gosh, I'm seeing this other guy's work. I want people to see this stuff, right? This is an example of you coming on here on this phone call. It's literally you taking the first step to do what? To honor the stuff that's in your heart, to honor the stuff that you've been gifted with, this idea that you've been gifted with. And honestly, I think it's an example for everybody else here that's in the show. This isn't stuff that I truly believe, it's not stuff that we just hide and don't share with anybody else. So honestly, huge kudos to you. The YouTube comments are just lighting up for you. All right. I don't know if you can see this or not, but like literally people just saying, I feel your pain, Dory, that pesky first draft. Look at that. People are so proud of you. Uh, Anna's on here. Anna or Anna, I'm not sure which, but
That's
she's
Anna.
Anna.
That's my mom.
Oh, Anna is your mom? That's great.
Yeah.
I'm not creative, but I'd be so thankful for you to help Dora. It's my pleasure. And I'd be surprised, Anna. I'm sure you've got a creative bone in you. You've got some creative daughters, that's for sure. So right on you. Look at that.
She's
Sal is saying thanks for vulnerably being open. Thank you for that, Dari. Right? You're awesome, says Emily. Right? I'm telling you, man. These are people. When you do this and take this brave step, thank you for doing this with us tonight. So, Dari, let's do this. Let's you and I. We'll talk via email. And let's do this. I would say I'll give you some more details on the email about how we can sort of meet some of these goals. But let's do like a monthly check-in as we're moving forward, so we can share and it can be just a simple 5-minute check-in with Dari to see, hey, let's see what's going on with Dari's project, so people can see what's happening. What do you
And
think?
next week on the Your Creative Journey podcast, we'll be doing a dramatic reading of the first draft of Dari's fantasy novel.
Wow,
I mean,
Paul, you
when
just
it
set
gets
that.
done, I'm totally fine with that.
Well, I tell you, I think that that's part of the thing that we also do, right? Is this practice in public. I think it's good to share it with people that are going to help you and guide you. And when you have the right people that are around you to help guide you through this process, why the heck not? So, believe me, you got a huge community of people that are on here right now that are just there for you, man. So let's get her done. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks,
Awesome.
friend. I am reading. I have my iPad and I have the TV on to watch you guys.
That's
But I
okay.
am reading, and I just can't write with my left hand
That's
on
okay.
the iPad.
I know Dari always comes in just a second late on our contest giveaways whenever we're doing them, because she has to type them on the iPad and just, well, what are you gonna do?
It's so weird because as I type, it changes the words or it doesn't finish typing what I wrote, and I'm like, darn it, you iPad.
It's the worst. Well, Dari, I want to say thank you for coming on here and sharing sharing your project, and let you and I start the conversation, okay? And I would say about a month from now, we're going to do a little 5-minute check-in with Dari and see how she's doing. What do you think about that? Good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, my friend, I'm going to let you go because we're going to continue on with the rest of the stuff. But Dari, thank you so much for being on the show. Give her a bunch of hand clappy emotions, everybody. All right, Dari, I'm going to mute you. I'll email you and we'll chat some more. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That was awesome, man. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Uh,
I can't wait to read the first draft.
Well, it's a huge challenge, right? When we get these things thrown at us and kind of going, I'm not sure where to begin, or I've got this thing that I've been working on for a long time, and
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of what this show is about too. That it's part of the work that I like to do is like go, hey, let's get you across the finish line with it, And the good thing too is sometimes it's not just about sometimes it's about getting across the finish line with a project so that you can move on to your next thing that you're supposed to be doing, right?
Sure.
And who knows what this process is. So I'm very excited to share part of Dari's process as we do it. So Paul, it looks like we're on the hook for at least another 6 months, pal. So I'm sorry.
Well, your new co-host is going to be super excited about that.
Get out of here. Paul, I've
Yeah,
got something very interesting to talk about, which I'm
yeah,
gonna chat with our are the kids okay? Do you need to check on them for a second?
yeah. Jamie got home.
Oh
They're
my
good.
gosh.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
though. Thank you
Jamie.
for checking.
You're the best. Um, Paul, here we are. What if I started telling you on we're recording this on October 5th. People are going to be hearing this next week audio wise on October 12th. What if I told you it's time to start thinking about January 1st, 2021? What would you say to that?
It's coming up so fast. Like I would believe you. It's
Right.
crazy how, like, remember when like the stay-at-home orders started? It was
Yeah.
like every day felt like a year.
Yes.
Now I just feel like I'm gonna blink and it's
Yes.
gonna be 2021.
No,
Like
it's
we were talking about, this is a fun update. We're just so close to being finished with the Haunted Man. Um, the color's just about done, and the final sound mix is just about done. But like our sound mixer was like, I got a really busy rest of the year, so if we don't finish it the second week of November, like it's gonna have to be 2021. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's definitely going to happen. So that's really exciting. But it
yeah.
was just, that just blew my mind. It was just like, it's almost 2021. I was just thinking about that earlier today. So, eesh, like, I believe you. I believe
Yeah.
you.
No, it happens because it goes so quick. I think that I started doing this is something that I want to start sharing with people, and I think that this is something that you and I are going to touch on for the next several weeks as we finish out this year on shows that we don't have guests, if it's all right with you. I started getting into this habit several years ago because I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions, right? New Year's resolutions are always those things like, hey, I'm gonna wait, and then January 1st, I'm gonna be, that's when I'm giving up everything. And as we see happen consistently, uh, people like 75% or more of New Year's resolutions never get completed, right?
Right.
Because usually people are crashing from the holidays and they start out with a bunch of zest and then they just blah. And also being transparent here on the show, January used to be a very difficult month for me. Like we'd get through November and December with the holidays. And I know we're living in Southern California, so I don't have a lot to complain. I know people that are living probably in the Northwest United States are going, get out of here. But there's something that for me would personally happen when we get into that, the darkest months of winter, that I just start feeling kind of like this heaviness and depression and all this stuff. And I couldn't get myself out of it. Several years ago, I started this habit that would start developing in October and November, where I started thinking, you know what? I need to start setting myself up for success now so that by the time that January hits, I've already developed my pattern of whatever projects or stuff that I'm working on so that I'm not dealing with all of the burnout and all the other stuff that goes on with the holidays. And particularly this year, ladies and gentlemen, with everything that we've been dealing with the COVID-19 situation. I mean, so many of us have already been on this emotional and physical roller coaster this entire year. I would really say that now is sort of the time, and I'll help you over the next couple of shows to really get clear and specific about the things that you're trying to build and create in your life. And I think that the first step in all of this is always about having some sort of a check-in or having some sort of a self-reflection of what's going on, right? And that could be as simple as taking a look back over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, or even all the way back to January, the beginning of this year, to think about when January 2020 started, because a lot of people were thinking this is it, it's going to be the roaring 20s, it's going to be amazing, blah, 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 right? Think back to where you were before all of this COVID stuff hit. And what were those things that you were hoping that you were going to achieve and hit and do all that stuff? I know for me, there were a couple of things I wanted to do physically, personally, financially, and they got, they got derailed, it happens. But there's nothing stopping you from taking this moment and going, all right, maybe I got knocked down this year. Maybe I got knocked down this year, financially, employment wise, whatever that stuff is. The true key to all of this is about getting yourself back up and taking a look and going, okay, let's go. Let's get up. What is that thing that I want to try? Paul, the fact that you're almost done with Haunted Man right now, dude, that's huge, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
huge. I mean,
um
how do you feel?
I feel really good. I'm excited to have it done, but it is one of those things where it's like I'm really like upset because, you know, from the very beginning, the second you start working on a project like this, at least for me, I'm picturing like the premiere
Mhm.
and the party that we're gonna have when it's done and comes out. And I'm just like I don't know how much longer we like once it's done in November, like how long are we gonna have to wait to get together? And do we not wait? Do we just like figure out a way to virtually do it? And does that take like a lot of the um not pizzazz away, but like how like crossing the finish line on something that's taken 3 years, you don't want to just do it on Zoom, you
Isn't
know?
that interesting? Because maybe Paul, I mean, here I am helping guide you through some of your stuff. Uh, my heart on this, Paul, as I'm listening to you, is to say, make it that special thing. Make it that special thing of like, hey, we've not only have we done it and gotten this thing, this is the one that we all actually get together and see each other and actually hug each other or whatever that is,
Yeah.
maybe it's that, maybe that's like a pinnacle of a celebration for me. Just thinking about it, I mean, think about everything that you have done, think about everything that you've done over this pandemic, right? With everything that you've done with the Zoom stuff and the Vaudacity network and everybody coming together and how you've been able to facilitate an online community, how we've even had an example here on this call with Dari calling in, or all these amazing people that are on the YouTube, on your YouTube family here just checking in. Could you imagine? Could you imagine what a huge celebration? I don't think you guys would be able to hold back the tears with
Oh,
everybody being in person.
yeah. And it is one of those things. I think it was Jamie that said, well, no, Jamie's the one who's like, you've kept people waiting for so long, too long. But somebody else was just like, dude, your your supporters, like they're so behind you, they love you, they've waited 3 years already, what's another 6 months to get together and celebrate it? And so there's part of it is that, but then it's also just like, oh my god, like I already, like we've talked about in previous episodes, like
Right.
I've had this hanging over me, and this has been the one like failure that I have felt creatively for so long, and getting it out would hopefully lift that off me. But I also just I want to have the big party. I want to see everybody there. I want to experience everyone experiencing the movie for the first time. So I don't know, man. It's
Listen, man, I'm just looking at these YouTube comments, and I'm just telling you right now that you've got a lot of people that are just going, if you got to wait to do it in person, and I get where your heart is, right? That you're trying to deliver on the other side of it, and maybe you do. Maybe there's some version of delivering some of that. I don't know what that is, um, but I did, but I did start to laugh because I thought, here's what you're gonna do. You'll have the big premiere with everybody in person. You'll have done the movie. Everybody will be celebrating. And then you go, and now here's a trailer for our new Kickstarter project.
I don't think anyone would ever back me on a Kickstarter again.
Get out of here. That is not true, man. I think more than anything, well, what's the thing that we've talked about in past episodes, dude? What we've talked about in past episodes is you have learned. Look at this. The folks, Craig's out there. I believe we would, Paul. We'd back you. Not true. Look at that. You got so many people that are in your corner, dude. The one thing that you've learned from this process is that as you're creating that budget and doing that thing of realizing, okay, my budget that I'm using for actual production, like I have to think about that and then equal amounts for post-production, right? So maybe that shrinks it, right? Maybe it's not necessarily, maybe we're not necessarily talking about a feature film, but maybe it's like it's just like an incredible high-end 30-minute thing or whatever, man. So look at that. They're saying we are family. Look at this, dude, as if we'd abandon you. My gosh. Could you can you believe this? You got all these
No,
people behind you, man. No,
they're the best. I don't deserve
there's something
their
else.
hearts and their
But
support, but I love you guys.
you're something else. Well, I would just say this, Paul, is that again, it's the reason that we bring this up is I want to again take this moment to congratulate you on getting to the other side of this because I know that this thing has been a burden for you and I know it's been really heavy on your heart and to just take that moment to celebrate the fact that you're almost there. And in addition to almost being there, maybe it is that thing of saying, okay, what does this look like? What could a premiere look like? And what are the parameters and what are the guidelines that I use to make that happen? And messaging that out to our fans. And I guarantee you, Paul, you've got such a wonderful fan base that they would be that whatever you decided on and put it out there, they'd fall in line. If that premiere couldn't happen until June of 2021 in person, they'd be behind you, bro. That's for sure. You know,
Fam base.
that's right. Fam base. I like that. Anyway, I put this out here to our listeners for the show. Do me a favor. Start thinking about the stuff that you had thought about in the beginning of 2020 and that you thought in January of 2020 that was like, hey man, this is the thing that I wanted to do. This is the thing that I want to accomplish. And maybe this is why I'm a huge advocate of writing stuff down, of taking notes. I'm going to share this briefly. I am so grateful that I keep a digital journal because I had a moment today where today was just one of those days where I kind of woke up. I was just feeling off. I was just kind of feeling off and I couldn't get things going. I had to do some writing. I had to do some other stuff. I was doing research and prepping for the podcast. And I just felt like, I can't, it's like a starter on a car that just won't go. I have a document that's personal writing. And what I do is major things that I know that I want in my life and major truths and beliefs that I have in my life. I have written down on this document. A lot of them are scripture verses. A lot of them are things that are long-term vision that I have for my life, long-time vision that I believe that God is trying to lead me in. And these things are really, really important. I have this personal writing document, and usually those major things take up the first top of the document. And then if I scroll a little bit down, then I can get into like, daily stuff. But I always know it's at the top of the document if I need to see it. Thank God I have that document because today was one of those days where I was able to go back and scroll up to the top and go, oh, yeah, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is the stuff that I'm trying to get done. I think over the next several weeks, I may share some of these things here with our listeners so they can hear examples of what it is that I write down and do. But this is why I'm such a big advocate of write the stuff down because guess what's going to happen? You're going to forget it. You're going to forget it. When we get in the middle of hardship and stuff that's going on, and when we feel like junk, all of that stuff gets jettisoned. And I'm so grateful that I have a version of that I can also have on my phone. So when I'm feeling like crap, I can just look it up and do it. I do it a lot with scripture verses, right? I'll go in the Bible. If there's stuff that deals with stuff that's going to help support me or anxiety or fear or any of that stuff, I usually put little tags on it. So then that way I can look on like an Evernote document and be able to pull that stuff up because I can't remember it in the moment. Think about that with passages or stuff with anything. It could be quotes, inspirational stuff. What are you going to say, Paul?
I was going to say, Jamie and I were just talking about this, I think, last night. I don't know if you remember before MySpace, there was a site called Live Journal.
Mm, mm,
And that was something that like all my friends were into. And it was like the precursor to MySpace and Facebook, where like you could write a journal entry and your friends could read it and comment on it. And like that was the kind of the first thing that was like that. And the cool thing about it was that it forced us to actually like sit down and write, because you get that satisfaction of, you know, I'm going to make a post and people are going to read it. Like this was the first foray into that, and what you'd feel when people read it and commented on it. And like LiveJournal is gone now, and we're so bummed because like all of those things, like we were making those journal entries and those posts when we were like dating long distance. Like she was in New York and I was living in Long Beach, and we had this long distance, like we started dating across the country. Like we had this base of like friendship, but
Yeah.
by the time we took our relationship to a romantic level, like we started out a country away. And like, you know, I know how hard like a long distance relationship is for people who have uh, already have a strong relationship base, but we experienced like a really unique beginning to our relationship, and we poured it all out in the LiveJournal, like not the super personal stuff, but the stuff
Yeah.
that like we were feeling that we wanted people to read. And now that's gone. Like
What?
LiveJournal has like purged it all.
Oh
And so we were
no.
just saying last night, like, oh, like wouldn't it be so great to still have that, and to be
Wow.
able to like when Everly's old enough, show Everly. And so it's just that thing where it's like you got to keep an actual physical
Yeah.
journal, because
Yeah.
you never know when data is going to go away or get purged.
Yeah. No, I tell you, bummer, man. I thought that
Yeah.
was going to be a thing that you could still find it. Oh man, bummer, bummer, bummer. Well, it is a thing to have, like to have a copy of it, or sometimes I'm a huge advocate on physically writing stuff down, but having it so you can go back there. So do that. I just want to point out a few things in the thing. We got Kenny Lammons here, who was on the show a while ago. He's dealing with the same issue that you're talking about with the premiere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that same thing as he's getting ready for dating under quarantine to go. How are you going to do it? So, but anyway, I just want to start throwing that out there to you, ladies and gentlemen, because over the next several weeks, we're going to start talking about the things and the steps that can prepare you for a wonderful 2021. So why not just start? Why not start the process now? You know, why not start taking the steps now? And we've already broken the ice on this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you feel like you have a question or something that you want to answer, or a creative project that you want to discuss with Paul and I, reach out to us. You can email me at kevin@kevingregg.com, or you can Facebook message me at Kevin Gregg Show on Facebook. And just tell me the situation that you're dealing with. If you want to come on the show and discuss it, we'll do what we did with Dari. We'll do a 15-20 minute segment with you, and we'll see if we can't help you through it. I'm not saying I'm going to read everybody's work. I can't. So I decided to do that for Dari because you know why I'm doing that for Dari? Because somebody's doing it for me right now. Somebody's doing it for me and helping me. So if I can turn around and help Dari with it, then that's great. Not saying that we can help you that way, but there you go.
Hey, Kevin,
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you do in New Year's? No, this. So you brought this up tonight. I had no idea. We had no idea we were going to talk about this.
What,
But
are you putting me on the hook for a New Year's Eve thing right now?
I've been thinking the last couple of days about doing a very special Polly's Online Variety Show countdown to New Year's. I believe it's a Thursday night.
Okay.
And I was going to do like a year in review kind of a thing, and ask, you know, our singers that have been on the show to
Yeah.
re-perform things. And I think it'd be super cool to like have a little New Year's segment with you, like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes at some point, and just
That
be
would be
like,
wonderful.
help people set goals.
I think that would be a great idea. Let's
Okay,
do that. We'll put it in.
cool.
We'll put it in, man. And New Year's Eve is a Thursday night. Thank you,
Yeah,
producer.
so
Thank you, producer Craig.
we may have,
I love calling him producer Craig. I like things great.
it's still like far in the distance, but we may
Sure.
have Hunter from 6 to 7, and
Okay.
then Corn Time with Friends from 7:30 to 9, and then we could do a countdown to midnight from 9 to midnight.
Wonderful. Love
But
it.
you're not on the hook for the whole 3 hours. You wouldn't.
Great. That's great. We'll come in. We'll talk about this stuff. We'll help get people We'll help get people started off for their 2021, which would be great. Huge.
Yeah.
Look at that. People are already excited about it. Look at that. See, we're already thinking about the new year in October.
I got to start figuring out how I'm going to get a big lighted ball in here.
It's going to be amazing. Ta-da. Nice space work. Everybody on the audio podcast is going, what's he doing? What's he doing right now? It's fireworks. Very nice. Hey, thanks to everybody that was on the show. We will have James Arnold Taylor on here in the next few weeks. We're going to reschedule with him. Can't wait to have him on. It's going to be exciting, man. I've been doing a lot of research with him. Boy, and I'm not going to spill the beans here because I'm going to save it for the show that he's on. But I will tell you, talk about a cat that is in the same space that we're in, buddy, about inspiring people and just like, whew, I can't wait to have that dude on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Paul, how can people help us?
Well, you can go to Apple Podcasts and give us a positive rating, just like
people that have given us positive ratings in the past. It's okay.
No, but seriously, we would love to reach more people with this, and we appreciate all of your support so much. And if you are able to, it's simple, it's free. Just head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a little 2-3 sentence write up, and as many stars as they'll let you.
Yeah. We will read your positive review on the air and we'll help get out. Hey, more than anything else, gang, share this podcast. Share it, whether you have it on YouTube, whether you have it on email or whatever you do. Share it with other people. I know that there were several people that were going to be coming on for the James Arnold Taylor one. If people have not heard about the show, share these links. Yeah. People can hear Dari on the show. So say, oh my gosh, you got to listen to her. She did an amazing job. Good stuff. Paul, thank you for being you, brother. I knew that when we had to shift it up and have a little bit of fun, I knew we were still going to have an amazing show tonight because you're a rock star.
Absolutely. You're a rock star.
I dig it. Thanks to everybody for your help. Thank you for Dari for being on the show. Thank you, producer Craig, Heather, Christina, Sam, all the team that helps us behind the scenes, and thanks to all of our listeners for showing up. Boy, it's so awesome when we're getting ready to do this and have you guys on the air with us. It's amazing. Thank God for technology as it is.
Yes, it's so much more fun with the live interactions. Not that just talking to you isn't fun.
I get it.
But thanks for everybody who joined us live.
That's it. If you're listening to us on the audio podcast, you can always join us on Tuesday. We're usually here Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. on YouTube, on Vaudacity Network. You can find it at vaudacitynetwork.com, which will lead you over to YouTube. If you liked what you saw tonight, and it's your first time here on YouTube, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and that way you can find out about other shows that are coming down the pike. Several other experiences that are coming down the pike this week are, Paul?
Well, our friend Hunter, this is not on this network, but he's actually doing an Edgar Allan Poe poetry reading in about 21 minutes on his channel. Hunter's Acoustic Cabin is the name of his channel. And then he'll be back, of course, Thursday night for his hour-long acoustic music here on the network, on the Vaudacity Network, from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And then Tuesday night, tomorrow night, we have Mike West with his acoustic mashups he's going to be playing for us from 7 to 7:30. And Friday night is our improv night, 8 to 9. The Vaudacity improv players on the suggestion box.
Spoke to Danny Roque this week. He's doing great. Thank God Almighty. So it was good hearing him, and thank God he's doing well. He's trying to gear up to come back on as soon as he can, healthily.
Yeah, he definitely wants to super soon. And then last but not least, next Saturday night, we're celebrating the 1970s with music from the 70s. The cast will be performing live. Amazing. And maybe we'll do some 70s themed improv as well.
Dig it. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope that you have a wonderful night. God bless each and every one of you. And we will see you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kev. You're the best.
Love you, Paul. I'm going to end this live stream, and then I'll end up the other stuff. All right, gang. We'll see you later.
Bye.